Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Wednesday, June 22nd, 2016. And you can see some clouds out there this morning. There's some scattered thunderstorms off to our west and southwest. Some clouds coming in from those. But again, for the most part, we're going to stay dry much of the day across mid-Michigan. And the prospects of rain here in central Michigan are really not that great for this whole system. The models continue to shift that low pressure system and the advance of the warm front quite a bit farther south over the last couple of runs. And we'll look at that in just a moment. You can see here across Jasper some hazy clouds this morning. You have a really good shot at rain and thunderstorms over the next 24 hours in this area, along with Blissfield and much of southern lower Michigan, particularly south of I-94. Our normal high for the day is 79. The normal low is 55. And you can see our temperatures yesterday. We had a high of 79, a low of 58 with no precipitation. And we had a little over 28 hundredths of evapotranspiration for the day yesterday. So we continue to take moisture out of the ground, and we've been quite dry. In fact, we've only had about 92 hundredths of an inch over the last 38 days. So very, very dry across the area. You can see across the MAC area temperatures mainly in the 50s to low 60s across the area. And you can see the color shades indicating the risk for severe storms for late this afternoon through tonight. And again, much of mid-Michigan now into the marginal risk area with a good many locations within MAC and a slight risk. And then you get down towards Blissfield and Jasper. You guys are under the gun with an enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms, not a moderate risk. You are now enhanced. You were in a moderate risk yesterday. I just didn't remove these two areas. But again, the moderate risk, and that I think we could see derechos, large hail, and even tornadoes. I expect that we'll see at least a couple of tornadoes here in the state out of this system. It looks like a pretty good setup, especially across southern areas. Can't rule out any severe storms across much of the area, but again, the best chance will be as you go farther southwest in the state of Michigan, and that's also where the most rain looks like it'll fall as well. If we look at the conditions around the Great Lakes, mainly in the 60s across the southern areas and 50s and 40s once you get up into the northern part of the state, where they'll have even a lesser chance of rain and thunderstorms from the system. If we look at the dew points, you can see the low 40s across the eastern UP and northeast lower Michigan. So very dry air, and that's going to help prevent that rain from being able to move this way as we get quite a bit of resistance this time of year, early summer, with those advancing warm fronts. So you can see dew points in the 50s across southern part of the state, and even down here in DeKalb, it's up to 61, and that higher dew point air will be rushing in to at least the southern part of the state. I expect dew points well into the 60s, maybe around 70 once you get down into Three Rivers area. If we look at the satellite, you can see the cold cloud tops explode from the MCS complexes that develop overnight, and they sink southeastward. And again, these will weaken here in the morning, but we expect new development across eastern Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois here later this afternoon, and those move to the east-southeast. Again, bringing much of southern lower Michigan a chance of severe thunderstorms, again, late this afternoon into tonight. If we look at the radar, you can see some of that area of pretty heavy rain and thunderstorms across the southern part of the state of Minnesota and Iowa, northeastern Iowa into northern Illinois. Again, those will sink to the southeast. Just a chance we could see a renegade shower here during the morning and early afternoon hours across the southern part of the state. But again, I think the best chance would be for later on this afternoon as more storms develop. On the weather map this morning, you can see low pressure across northeastern and eastern Nebraska. It's going to move through Iowa to about the Fort Wayne area, then across northern Ohio over the next 36 hours. And that'll try to push that warm front further north. But again, the models are suppressing it quite a bit farther south. Thus, the highest risk of severe thunderstorms and heavy rains will be mainly across the areas just to the south of Michigan. But again, the southern part of the state under the gun for at least some severe weather as well. And again, if you get down towards Benton Harbor and Three Rivers, Niles, Constantine, Hillsdale, Jackson, over towards Blissfield, Adrian, Jasper, and those areas, again, you're going to be under the gun. I think you'll have plenty of severe weather to look forward to late this afternoon into tonight in those areas. And then by tomorrow, that low pressure system near Fort Wayne. Any rain and thunderstorms across the area will be mainly across southeast lower Michigan and over into southwest Ontario, and mainly during the morning hours, and we'll see conditions improve as high pressure moves in. And then for the day on Friday, plenty of sunshine as we look at our next weather system that could bring some scattered thunderstorms over the Great Lakes this weekend. But again, right now it looks like no big deal, mainly on a very scattered basis indeed. If we look at some of the precipitation, this is a GFS forecast over the next 72 hours. And you can see for much of the area here in Gratiot County and Montcalm County where we really need the rain, the model puts out no precipitation, just a renegade tenth or so across the Tri-Cities. But again, the heaviest activity across the southwest part of the state into southern lower Michigan, southeast lower Michigan, and far southwest Ontario. Now, it's also to be noted that the European model is very similar with the placement of this rainfall, only more significant, showing much of these areas picking up around an inch, anywhere from a half inch to an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter once you get south of I-94. So again, all the rainfall looks like for the most part is going to be there. Now, if you get a thunderstorm in the mid-Michigan area, it could certainly drop some heavy rain in an isolated or local basis. But again, it doesn't look very optimistic for rainfall here, not only for today, the next 10 days looks pretty dry with less than a half inch on both the models over the next 10 days here across central Michigan. So not good news at all. And if we look at the next map, you can see the WPC's forecast over the next 7 days does show a little bit more in the way of precipitation, as they think that certainly the potential is there for a little more than what the models are putting out, but we'll see. Thanks for stopping by and have a great day. Stay safe out there, and 73s to all.